This is being recorded for audio for posterity's sake, for your hearing pleasure in 2033. All right, ZBA meeting to discuss the applications for 11 and 11.5 Riverside. When we held the public hearing, what day did we hold public hearing on? A week or two ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. All right. Here today in our meeting, we have board members Peter Beekman, Mike Snow, Conrad Stuntz, Code Enforcement Officer Tim Nolan, and 3 members of the public. We have John Gray, Isabel Sears, and Susan Sears and Ralph Isabel. Okay. Awesome. The applicants. Cool. General flow today, guys. So we're just talking about the applications we talked about last week. We had the 4 tests we roll through and go from there. Okay. All right. To recap, last episode of the ZBA meeting, we talked about the 2 variances, right? With the waterfront and parking. Okay. To summarize, I'm just going to summarize real fast and just kind of butt in if you have any questions, right? The waterfront overlay, basically they bought the building. They talked about using the building, got a nice grant, talked about using the building. The engineer said building bad. So architect said, great, move the building forward, danger zone. We can't build a building that's feasible or in this site without exceeding the 50-foot overlay, right? Proposed plan requires a 20-foot variance. So it's 30 feet from the water, if I remember correctly. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So that's the waterfront overlay. We had a conversation last time about water enhanced features versus water adjacent versus water slide versus water, etc. Water dependent. And there's room in the code for a water dependent, water adjacent, water enhanced usage that would require a special permit of the planning board. That would supersede our variance, basically, if we decide to go the variance. I talked to Barry Walsh, planning. He said first pass when they talked, he's like, I don't think it's water enhanced. Second pass, he's like, actually, with their mezzanine, the mezzanine faces the water, Tim. Yeah. So their second floor, they have 1 floor of fitness and second floor which actually faces the water, and they have chairs out front. And so when Barry was thinking about more, he's like, actually, that seems like definitely water adjacent. Oh, waterfront, sorry. Yeah, riverfront. Yeah. So so structure is, I mean, the Riverside side is just regular stuff, but the Riverside would be more glass with mezzanine, seeing the water. Okay, that's the waterfront piece of the application. Okay,
On in their mind, that water adjacent enhancement.
Barry's willing to negotiate on that one. I think Barry on planning, he's like, first pass, he's like, second pass, he's like, actually, it's sounding more like it would be. This falls into one of those categories, to be honest with you, like, if we get into this is what appeal boards do. They define what water adjacent would be, or water enhanced or whatever. That is one route we could do. If we
have the ability to make that judgment.
We have the ability to make a couple judgments here, right? We could kick it back to planning, saying we don't feel like the variance is required. It needs to go to planning for a special use permit. Okay. Because we feel, based on our interpretation of the language, that it's a water enhanced or water adjacent, whichever one it is, feature.
Yep.
Right? We could take that route. We could take a straight denial route and say, we'd have to go through the tests, and we could deny it, say, done. Or we can take the variance as it's written and say, water adjacent, water whatever, not even address that, just look at the straight variance on the
Right.
build
Right.
and deny or approve that.
Okay.
So it's kind of like
Yep. All right.
how we can roll on that one.
Okay.
Right. So planning is still working on the site plan, basically. So planning's talked once, site plan stuff, and there's some things on site plan that makes no reason to pursue if they're not going to get certain variances, right? Like, because
Right.
without variances, like if we say, well, you can't build on the waterfront, within the floodplain, within the setback, it's not within the floodplain, it's in the setback.
Right.
No, floodplain's
No.
not there. That's not an issue up there. Yeah, that bank is so high. That's not an issue. So I don't know.
Okay. No, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, gut feels on the like. Do you guys want to talk waterfront first, and just like kind of go through tests? Do you guys like? Do we want to even address this, or do we feel like this should be a planning decision? Do we feel like the language in the code with water adjacent? This is the nitty gritty of zoning boards. Is what we do is that when there's a question about the language in the code, it gets kicked to us, and then we've discussed the meaning of where it is. All right. So, what do we think? Do you want to discuss the meaning of the word is and water adjacent, waterfront? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. The, that's because it's code and that's the definition. Tim, is that what you sent me? Thank you. That's the only thing. That's all we're worried about.
The permit.
Special permit would have to be through planning.
Oh.
That's not us. I mean, part of the issue is that if we say we feel that this is not a request for variance because we feel it's a water dependent use, they would have to agree with us. Otherwise, it comes back to us for a variance. I mean, it's a cyclical thing. Because like the special use permit, like if it's a water enhanced use,
Mhm.
right? Then it can exceed the setback with a special use permit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. But a special use permit requires a vote of the planning board. Right, Tim? Special use permit is planning board, right? Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So basically, structures of retail or service business is demonstrated to be water dependent, which is not water dependent. No, not slip and slide into the water. Um, or water related. So
Right. So this is.
yeah. Use have no critical dependence on obtaining a waterfront location, right?
Yeah.
But the profitability of the use and or the enjoyment level of the users is increased significantly when it's adjacent
Right.
with conventional access.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the planning board shall have the authority to impose additional conditions as may be warranted, right?
Okay.
With a special use permit.
So all that being said.
Yep.
If we kind of park that discussion to the
Yep.
side,
Mhm.
if we just go to look at the plan and the variance they're
Yep.
looking at, I mean, if my memory's correct, there was just a small section of the plan that really was still within the 30-foot
There was
variance that they're
there's
asking.
that corner.
Right.
There was a corner that was slicing off, basically. Yeah, because the whole thing was like 30 feet back,
Right.
except for I was like, I don't really recognize that one. I was like, hmm.
So,
And then there was that corner of the building that was like 20. I mean, it's right upstairs, right? Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, I think we're all
so,
thinking about the same thing. Just that one corner, I guess.
right.
Yeah, just that.
So everything else is within the 30-foot now. If it was a 30-foot
Right.
variance, everything else in the building is fine with that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the variance would be 20 feet, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. The other question, I guess, since we met and just thinking about this and everything that's gone on about economic development and
Uh-huh.
developing that Riverside corridor,
Yeah.
um, it, I was struggling with if you maintain the 50-foot setback,
Mhm.
and then it's probably a setback from the street,
Yeah.
what could you put in there?
Right. A bowling alley,
Yeah,
single
yeah,
lane.
like 3 lanes maybe,
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So it's like, on one hand, we're looking to enhance and maximize that asset in the village because it's certainly underutilized or under asseted right now, with the exception of Rushton Place,
Right.
which got us on the right road.
Right.
I'm like going, Jesus, what do you, talk about, forget rock and a hard place. It's like between the dog and a fire hydrant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. It, yeah, worse. The parcels is,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's its narrowest point,
right.
probably.
It's right where they're hoping to put their parking is the nearest spot. Yeah. Yeah. Just with the people building. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. They don't have a place
Yeah.
to park, right?
Yeah. It's Riverside. River. So Napa's currently here.
And you can see that this is much narrower than if, it comes out here, so this is wider area. And probably
Why they slid it that
why
way?
they split it.
Because you can see is that the offset line?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's that corner. So this is a bit, yeah,
Right.
that corner doesn't fit the 30. And then this guy here, and you can see basically how narrow that is there. If you move that here, you couldn't get the setback.
From the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Tim, what's the setback on a building in this zone off of the sidewalk requirement? It's like 2 feet or 5 feet or something. It's like, or is it 10? It's 0 to, okay, so you could be right on wall. Okay. How deep is it? Parking spot's 20 feet deep? Yeah, this is 20 feet. Okay. All right. Um, Good question. Tim, can a parking lot exceed does it have to be 50 feet back? If you suppose I just put a parking lot in. Would that have to be 50 feet back, or can that go right up to shoreline? Yeah, except back and forth. I mean, it's yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not from the setback.
yeah. I mean, you have to talk about DEC drainage and stuff like that, but that's planning. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't talk about parking. It talks about it talks about structures. Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. For the rear minimum. Yeah, yeah. So, right. So in downtown mixed use, the rear minimum yard is a 30 feet. Waterfront overlay kicks that up to 50 feet.
Mhm.
And so they're asking for a variance for those 20 feet.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Um,
Just a minute. Okay.
yeah, there's a discussion of a two-story. And Tim looked in the code and talked to Barry about that planning, and mezzanines count as a story in the definition. So
Okay.
our code enforcement officer would not have kicked that to us. So, right, right. Yeah, right.
So having the mezzanine, does that categorize to commercial zone? I think it had to be two stories.
Has to be two stories.
Story.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That clears that up. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Okay.
what do we, next step, go through the test?
I think we'll go through the tests on this one, for this one, right? Okay. Undesirable change in the neighborhood. So the question is whether undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. And the only question before us was allowing them to build 30 feet back from the water as opposed to 50 feet back from the water. I I'm thinking no. Yeah, that's not. I'm not impacting the neighborhood. Not.
Yeah. In a positive way.
Yeah. How could be better? Come on. All right. When the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative. Um, I mean, I think we kind of rolled through this last week a little bit.
Yeah.
The feasibility would be cutting their building in half. All right, because it'd be down to a 20-foot wide building, which just kind of it dumps the idea of.
Yeah.
And they bought a building that was much deeper than that, specifically for this usage.
Right.
So I cannot think of a feasible alternative to the variance. 3. Whether the requested variance is substantial.
From 50 to 30.
Right.
I mean, if you just do the math, it's
right. It's substantial that way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say it is substantial. It's a pretty substantial variance they're asking for.
Mhm.
Yeah. Adverse impact to the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. This is different than the character. This is the physical. Let's see, we're taking a paved parking lot here and 2 buildings which need a bit of rehab and putting up a new building and a gravel lot. I do not think that the setback creates any adverse impact. And the question is self-created. Oh yeah, this is our favorite one. Right.
Right. Ideally.
Right. Okay. There. Now we see 2 of us, so the transcript makes more sense. I don't know. Partly, but I'm not sure that it's fully self-created because I think the building got condemned on them.
Yeah.
Not condemned, but was indicated that it wasn't viable for what their goal was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that been going around with bent beam and their challenges.
I think now that we can vote and then put conditions into play too.
Mhm.
Or is there anything about this overlay that is giving the heebie-jeebies that would feel is not like basically we talked about it being our issue was is it substantial? That was one of our issues.
Right.
And So the question is, do we need to think about putting in conditions on the variance for substantial?
I don't. I mean, it's substantial when you just do the bare math.
Yeah.
But going back to my earlier point, if you maintain a 50-foot setback, it's just going to be a vacant lot,
Right.
which I think is not. Yeah. And if they're trying to make an investment, obviously a business proposition that I would think is in line with the overall economic village development plans and programs.
Right.
I mean, you have a waterfront asset that is, we're certainly not utilizing it and taking advantage of it the way a lot of other communities
Right.
have done.
Um, yeah. So on the substantial side, I mean, we have this, our front, the side facing Riverside, we have 8 foot of setback there. You know, is why do we pick 8 feet? Is that a
You said it has to be between 0 and
15
15.
from?
Or the average of adjacent lots.
Well, they might match that depth back might match Riverside Liquors. Question.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
No,
I'm good.
I'm good.
So I would like to make sure that is like, if that's 8 feet back, that's in line, then that I would like, if we do pass that, I would to push this as far forward as we can to be in line with the rest of the properties.
Yeah. Do you know what your
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the setback is from the street, the the curb.
Curb.
Okay. Yeah, I would say yeah. It's probably right, John.
Right. Cool. All right. Do you guys want to vote on the waterfront variance? You guys ready to vote? All right. I vote would pass the variance, as stated, basically allowing for a 30-foot setback. Um, basically. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to, I would like to put that into our decision, talking about that corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we make a decision. Okay. So, mhm.
Aye.
And I'm an I as well with some conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Condition one, we want to make sure that setback is as small as possible from the street, right?
Right.
So it's in the average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that setback is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So that's what Riverside Liquors right there,
Mhm.
and that's what Pikes and Napa, right?
And that's what we're talking about in that.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think that's so when you say that, just sort of align it with
Yeah.
the setback
The average.
that are
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
in place.
Mhm.
Okay. Because maybe that
Yeah.
gains some movement.
Can you give me a measurement on Riverside to the curb? Thanks. The other thing is this corner here.
Yeah.
Corner. Like basically the applicant was talking about a set-
Right.
I don't, I mean, that's 5 feet or more. That's 8 feet there.
At its max.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of trying to get the whole building to comply with 30,
Yeah. Does that matter to us?
I,
That would,
yeah, create a
Corner.
construction jog that,
It doesn't.
or
I, yeah,
Well, the thing is, yeah, because if we had a better bank here, right,
right.
then you could put your parking in and you'd be fine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was John's point about moving the parking to here. It would resolve his issue of his concern about about using his lot,
For the fitness center.
and then it was a bigger parking lot over here. But the setback, that building would be basically, 4 feet from the water.
Yeah.
I'd rather have parking 4 feet from the water. The banks, yeah,
Yeah.
the bank, yeah. $21.3 feet. No, yeah. Okay. And he's got 8 foot here. And then can't read. I don't know what this one is. No, I think they were like, I think it's being matching the street wall, basically. It's averaging the street wall. It's gonna be 15 feet. Yeah, that's kind of what we have that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good to have an accountant in the room.
All right. Do we have any conditions on this corner?
Personally, I don't, because I think to just have them have to construct rather than a perfect rectangle,
Mhm.
a jog. I don't know. I just think that would be, in my opinion, a bit onerous.
okay.
Because this is what, 100 and
It's 100 feet long.
100 feet long. So you're probably looking at what? 25 feet here,
Yeah,
maybe
25.
20, 25 by at its max, what, 8, 10?
That would,
I don't know. I just,
Yeah, because Ruston's right on the sidewalk. You have the steps there. But what's that? Yeah, yeah.
That's. I don't know. What's your opinion?
I'm looking at, I'm not very happy about this. I don't like the fact we're getting to a setback here that is like closer to like 10, 15 feet setback as opposed to a 30 here. Like 30, I'm like, all right, that's matching downtown mixed use, right? Here, that's that's not matching it. Yeah. And I would lean towards a conditional of you have a 30-foot setback.
So make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So an average bit. Okay. And so it's probably about the same thing. I mean, so you can almost slide the whole building. Here you have a sidewalk and then you have an 8-foot. So if you do a 10-foot sidewalk, I mean, you might be able to slide this whole building this way forward.
And then be in the 30. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We couldn't close.
I don't know,
Right.
but that would be, and I would,
Well,
I would like to.
in terms of consistency. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a variance on the variance. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So. What do we, I mean.
We voted for a variance. We're talking about any possible conditions.
Conditions.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the conditions would be to move the whole structure.
To make sure the structure matches the average setbacks of adjacent properties.
Right.
That's all. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Okay. And then,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
conceivably, they could either fit it all in or reduce that considerably. Yeah.
And well, so I would say the setback is the average of the adjacent properties, right? Okay. And then I would say, like, and you guys can say no, we'll drop it. But I would argue that we would like a setback of 30 feet. A rear setback of 30 feet. And like that, the variance, it's a 20-foot variance we're comfortable with. We're not really comfortable with a 30 or 35-foot variance or whatever this jog is.
Right. Okay.
It's a pain. I mean, it's flat out. It's building, but it's dealing with variances. Okay.
All right.
All right. So it's the minimum variance. We're doing a 30-foot rear setback, 20-foot variance on entire structure. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Parking.
Center. 17 parking spots.
Right.
Okay. There's 11 there. So we're done with these ones.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Hold on.
That's just the area. That's just the areas.
Okay.
Now we're to
Mhm. So we have 11 and then they need 17, so we're,
okay. So, all right. So it's basically that's one per 300. So the mezzanine's only in the first floor. Or that's
1,000.
Okay. 11 spots fit in there. Um, we talked about the proximity of the public parking. We had public comment, very concerned about this parking lot overflowing into this parking lot. We talked about the fact that along Riverside Drive, it is an unposted 15-minute maximum. Don't tell Bobby. Sorry, it's 10 minutes parking. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no kidding. No. Um, um, no, they definitely do not enforce that one. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's like, we don't want to deal with that. We talked about the empty lot here and the empty lot over here that are for sale. Um, Applicant said, thank you very much. We're not going to buy more lots before we do something else, which is fair. That was Denny's proposal. Um, the we did not. I didn't ask. What's your occupancy? All right. The usage paradigm is 24 hours. One thing I thought about was winter usage. This municipal lot is not available overnight because of the tow zone during winter months, right?
Yeah.
November 1st to March 1st, overnight parking, which means that would not be available for the 24-hour access
Mhm.
usage. Is that 2 in the morning?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so that should be all right. So,
Yeah.
so it's really what, 2 to 6? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. Okay. So that was just my
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
I think that was just because it's okay. Uh, We talked about, well, what if we, like, is there a way to get more like to get the remaining, 5 spots, 6 spots? Means it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 9. Yep. Which one? This one?
On the table.
Um, how deep is this? That wasn't deep enough. Mhm.
Right. You're gonna be low. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right. So they're already at, what are they, 8 feet?
Yeah. Lines.
9, okay.
Okay. They did the nice setback here to rush in place with the retaining wall and stuff like that.
Right.
$50 square feet per occupant.
Mhm.
5,000, but so 100. 5,000. 5,000 divided by 50. 100. Okay. Tim, do you have your scale ruler? Thank you. Okay. I am curious what that setback is here. That matches that.
Hmm.
Because the whole thing slides this way. Slides all that way. You have more parking. You basically put the building right where the current one is. The zero setback.
Hmm.
What was when you got Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good thoughts.
Should we talk 50?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. An inch. 60 divided by 8. 60 divided by 8. It's like about 8 feet, 7.5 feet.
Yeah. 7/8 or 56. Yeah. I think that takes care of it.
Okay, close.
Yeah.
But what it does, but the average. So if you slide this building forward 8 feet, it takes care of that issue. But then you're not matching because Riverside is further back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a membership model. It's not, there's no walk-in, like, hey, I'm in town, can I work out? Oh, there will. Okay. 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 Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
Right.
This part here, Tim measured in at 8.5 feet. Pretty tight. And then like that's up, and then this little setback they have drawn right now is an 8 foot. So might be some any, but then you're in the issue of yeah, you do yeah, well that's I mean the building is exceeding by 8 feet. Your waterfront here is still like, what, 22 feet, not even. Well, as drawn, it's less than that. It's 10 feet. Yeah, sense. Okay,
All right, cool.
okay.
Okay. Mhm. Yep.
The benefit is building a building, right?
Mhm.
I mean, make the building smaller, require less spots. That's not feasible for the structure, I don't think. And you got to think of anything that'd be feasible.
Yeah. Just based on the math.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
Right.
stretch,
Yeah.
basically. The chain link fence stretch
Yeah.
is 1 to 4 cars,
Yeah.
depending on how many of Bobby's customers have left the car there for hours,
Yeah.
like snow. Just saying.
I guess if you're broadening the environmental definition to impact on neighbors and stuff like that. Okay. No.
I think we're
Right.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, they had a lovely trying to chain link fences that you could drive right into the river from with a building that just didn't work.
Right.
The goal was always to purchase the building and just
Rehab
rehab it and roll from there.
Mm-hmm.
So great. Riverside. It's an awkward timing. Yeah, because that's kind of a weird time.
Really?
6 p.m. to 10 to 1. What? So this makes no sense.
I
That
think somebody didn't proofread the code.
yeah. From oh my God. It's in front of the old empty spot because it's 66.5 feet southerly from the southern side of Chapel Street for 82 feet, right? This is only basically in front of like it's got to be just in front of the like 82 feet long is that empty lot.
And then it ends.
And then it ends,
Yeah.
right? Would that be your read on it too, Jim?
Mm-hmm. So that's the liquor store and that old, the vacant lot.
Of your space.
I guess it's.
You guys are a turn lane, right? So
How that works. Yeah.
it's a lot during the day.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of the lower one. The lower one.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. It does.
Well, I find it the the it, the Surgery's lot is above what's it, Hodges Street, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's below, okay.
Well,
Yeah, Nature's Storehouse. I just, I, I've always found that in that lot, the closer you get to Riverside Ave, the more spaces there are. Because I just had to drop some clothes off at St. Mary's, and I mean, it was virtually, that end of it was pretty much empty. Work there, right, and park, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then it's Yeah. Yes, Tony he'll be happy. I mean, there's no signs.
So there's one of these pages that have the overlay of the existing building. There it is. Okay. All right, that's the right. So that's there. Okay. Because the building, I think, is going to be going to in this region, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's that whole parking lot. So if you can park. So Tim, you're looking into Riverside Drive parking. That's so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because everyone else has got access to ample parking on the east side because of all the lots. Of the one between the Canton Tire and that auto store is like driving on the surface of the moon. Huh?
Right.
Yeah. Towards the high rises. Yeah. So in theory, people could park there.
With
Right.
10 minutes.
Yeah. And of course, there's no sign saying 10-minute parking. Right. Have you ever had, found people that were parked illegally in your spaces and had them towed or anything? Okay. How do you manage that? Just leave a note on the windshield, or someone walking over to the auto parts store? Okay. Oh, yeah. 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 Hmm. Hmm. That shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be a condition. Okay. Hmm. Right.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Because there's two other liquor stores in town, is that what it- okay.
No, that's me too. Yeah.
Yeah, pick one. All right, so we have our 5 conditions we talked about, and the question is basically benefit the applicant does or doesn't. Okay, so basically it's better for them to have 5 fewer spots than it is to, you know, basically the benefit of the detriment. And then conditions if we want. Okay,
Mhm.
does that work?
So this is for the yay or nay?
Overall,
That's, a yay. Conditions. Yep. I think we should, um, in
I think
acknowledging that a hedge probably isn't enough of a detriment than some sort of, you know, final, whatever, fence. Okay. Do they put specifications on height and all that? Yeah, okay.
yeah. I would I would leave that up to site plan review because they look at all the things about like privacy screen. I, it's, okay.
Yeah, they'll climb over. Climbing wall? You can climb this wall. Yeah.
I don't think we need to put any other conditions on this, do we?
No.
No, it's really just dealing with parking lot there. I'd love to have final clarification. I'm still confused about parking in front of 11 and
Yeah.
11 and a half Riverside Drive. It's unclear to me whether that's allowed or prohibited from the hours.
Right, but it's good enough. Yeah. 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 Sorry.
The parking lot at 1 Main and the proposed parking lot at 11 and 11 and a half Riverside. That sound right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nope.
I'm going to stop the recording. Just we passed it with the condition of the fence or the foot impediment. I'm stopping recording. A final decision will come through to you guys. I think I'm told I have 5 days to write this thing up. When it's written up, it then cycles through everything. Normally in general, though, like once we go through the meeting, if you want to start talking to people and getting your balls moving forward, that'll be fine. I will be emailing planning, letting them know our decisions so that they can pull it off the table and hopefully get this forward for you guys. Okay. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming in.